Hey guys, so in today's video we're going to be looking at a new interview by J2 talking about the end of the show and what they want to see in the final season. We're also going to be looking at a recent convention appearance by J2 in JipCon 10 in Rome, also talking about what they want to see in the final season. And I especially liked what Jensen said about wanting the focus to be back to the boys, to the brothers, which are the pillars, the foundation of the show. He wants to get rid of all the drama with the angels and demons and other, the boring things we've been seeing over the last few seasons, which is something I've always criticized in the recent seasons. The focus drifting too far away from the boys and having side drama with the angels and other characters and all of that. Thankfully, Jensen finally acknowledges that. Going into the official final season of the show, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but for now, it is unfortunately the final season of the show. So, in the convention appearance, after I discussed the interview, Jensen actually mentioned that he wants the focus to be back in the boys and he just wants to hunt monsters like season 1, which sounds perfect for me because I've been asking for that for years. And finally, when they decide to give us that, unfortunately, it will be the final season, at least the official final season of the show. So first off, we're going to look at an interview by E! News talking to the boys about the end of the show and what they want to see. Then we're going to see that clip from JipCon 10. So again here, in interviews E! News, they talk about how the head of the network, Mark Pedowitz, has always said that he supports the show going on as long as the ratings hold and as long as the J2 want to continue making it. Has always said that one of the biggest supporters of the show. So E! News asks the boys about that here, and Jensen says, "The way it went between he and I was, we have been talking about it for years," he told E! News in a joint interview with Padalecki. And then he goes on to say, "When Mark kind of planted that seed, then he and I were like, oh wow, this is something we're going to have to shoulder and figure out ourselves. It's a big responsibility," adds Padalecki. "The conversation has been going on about when is the time. I think he and I always wanted to never see the show fizzle, never run out of gas. We wanted to go out strong. We wanted to go out while we were still able to give the quality of product that we've been giving for the last 15 years, Ackles said. We took a lot of people into account. We talked to a lot of people. It was certainly a collective decision that was very difficult to make." And then we have Misha Khan's statement here. He says, "We have 20 episodes left. I guess it could all be really emotionally gripping drama for 20 episodes." So again, that is an official confirmation, at least from Misha, that the final season will just be 20 episodes instead of the old-fashioned 23 we've been used to in the previous years before season 14. I wish, like a lot of fans, it was longer, but unfortunately it's not. So Misha goes on to say, "It could be a lot of mourning and goodbyes, but I hope we have a peppering of a couple more strange, surreal, Scooby Natural, The French Mistake style episodes where we just do something completely out of the box. Maybe we could do a proper musical episode or something like that before we go." That's what Misha Khan said. So I agree with him. I don't want it to be all mourning and sadness, even though I will be sad every episode from the final season, but it'd be nice to have those funny, outside the box episodes we've been used to from Supernatural, of course. Not the musical. I don't agree with the musical. I don't want a musical, thank you. We already got a musical-ish episode, 200th episode, which was good, but it's not really one of the best in my opinion. Kind of like on a silly side, but still a pretty funny episode. So the article goes on to say, "Whatever happens, it will be the Winchesters together if Ackles gets his wish." And Jensen says, "I think whatever it is, it's got to be the brothers together. That's been the core of the show since the beginning. I think it's really what the fans want to see. I think regardless of who comes knocking, I think whatever is done, it's about these two brothers and their journey. I think that's really where the heart of the show should reside." So that's what Jensen said as far as what he wants to see in the final season. Obviously, I agree with him. It's all about the boys, the core of the show, so everything should be heading towards that, full focus on the boys, including the very final season, the very final scene and all of that. And like I said, in the convention appearance, he talks more in details about that, how he wants the show to go back to the roots, kind of like season 1, where it was just the boys hunting monsters and get rid of the angel and the demon drama and stuff like that, which I really love. And yeah, I really couldn't agree more with Jensen and Jared about this as far as going back to the roots, especially Jensen. And yeah, who knows what's going to happen in the future. Like I said in recent videos, especially Jared hinted at the show possibly not ending for good, might be a return in the future, and even Jensen agreed with him on that. But Jared is the one who's really you can see he's really affected by the whole ending thing, and he definitely not ready to say goodbye, and he wants to, you know, maybe someday come back. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that clip from the convention of Jensen and Jerry talking about what they want to see in the final season. And like I said, what Jensen talks about, the focus being back to the boys, agreement 100%. So yeah, I hope they stick with that as far as the writers and showrunners go. And who knows, I would love for Eric Kripke to come back, and if not, you know, run the whole final season, I would love for him to do that. At least to write a few episodes or be very active in pitching ideas or something like that. It started with Kripke, and if it's gonna end, at least officially, it has to have Kripke on it, and I hope he runs the whole season, to be honest. So far, nothing official, but hopefully we hear some news about that soon, of Kripke's involvement in the final season. I wish he just runs the whole season once again. So again, thanks guys, and I'll see you next time. But before I end the video, I will show you the clip from the convention, and yeah, let me know what you think down below in the comments. See you next time.
It's a duet.
I apologize from my friend.
Lo sento. What was the first question?
How would 7 want Supernatural to end?
Jesus. That's a rough question. That's one we thought about. I'm sorry. Our view is very different than your view. You see? Okay. Is there something in that? I feel like, so I said this, I'll repeat it because I said it in New York 2 days ago. Time change. I don't want season 15 to I see what you did there. I like it. I don't want to have the characters know that it's I don't even say winding down, but I don't feel like their attitudes should change. They've always done whatever they could, whatever they feel like it would take to keep the fight going. So God forbid these stories lend themselves to almost showing the audience and showing the other characters like, oh, we know we're going to be gone in 20 episodes. Not that I know that we're going to be gone in 20 episodes. I don't know if we die. I hope we die, but I don't know if we die. Someone's just like, is there a giant snake in the room? I should Slytherin?
I'm gonna jump in. I think, my opinion, that the brothers would, for this to wrap up, I think that their idea or their ideal kind of scenario would be for all those that were in heaven go back to heaven, all those that were in hell, they go back to hell, all of the demon and heaven and hell and angel, all that stuff kind of goes back to status quo, and it goes back to like season 1 when it was just monsters, just having to fight those things that go on for the night, and then
No, Misha.
No. I mean, Castiel would stay, but just different. Somebody.
You didn't get it.
Just not Misha. No, and then I think it'd be cool, like, and then they can then kind of teach their knowledge to maybe a younger generation of hunters. That's, in my opinion, how I think the brothers would love for the world to kind of end up, is back to a state of normalcy, but with still, they still have jobs, so to speak. Yeah, I doubt that's going to happen. but
We'll see.
we'll see.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. There's some very interesting balloon animals up here.